At a certain age, words just start to escape you.
Oh, no, I never had them.
And you never had? Okay,
No.
Well, there we go.
No, my father and brother, we have something where you can't actually identify the word that you need. So I remember specifically in college, I was like, okay, I need one of those implements that has ink inside. It has a ballpoint.
Stop it.
And they're like, a pen? It's never been a thing. So it's not even aged. I don't even know.
My goodness. All right. Well, you can't miss it if you never had it, I suppose. I just find myself losing things.
Oh.
You know, I've turned that corner.
Well, maybe you can think of it as an opportunity for exploration.
Yes, let's do that.
Welcome to In the Act, a radio program on process and the creative life. Creativity does not just start and stop with artists. We all make aesthetic or guiding decisions. Our aim is to talk through the process and investigate how we choose to express ourselves and live creatively. We're connecting with people about their lives. And that's the subject of our show. Broadcasting from Mead Public Library in Sheboygan, Wisconsin on Mead Community Radio. I am Erica Hunsinger, and this is In the Act. And today's guest on In the Act is Julie Burcham.
Hi.
Hi.
Here I am.
I'm so glad you're here.
Oh my gosh. First of all, such an honor.
Oh.
So excited.
Yeah.
I mean, do people know who you are? Have you ever been interviewed for this?
I have been interviewed for
thank
this,
goodness.
Julie, because
Good.
I am a believer in if you're doing something, it's important to understand what the other side or the flip side of that is.
Great.
You know? So
Well,
I
not only
interviewed John
that-
first, and then John interviewed me. I think that was like the first 2 episodes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, people should know who you are.
Oh, you're so cute.
No, really. I mean, Erica Hunsinger, look her up. I mean it.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that just points to the fact that we're like huge star fans of each other.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So would you, so I know we don't necessarily like always bring in artists. However, this has been an interesting journey for you.
To say the least.
To say the least.
Absolutely.
And I think it's so fabulous and inspiring. And I just want to explore that in time.
Yeah.
Right? But you do jewelry now.
I do.
You do beaded work. And I'm wearing my first pair of your earrings. I know I'm totally like petting them right now.
I love those.
They're so cool. They're this like light pink, long-stranded, half-mooned.
Those are my UFO. I kind of call them my UFO
Yes.
earrings.
Oh,
they
okay.
look like a spaceship meets a flower somehow.
Yeah. Dragon.
With metallic
something.
Kelly green. Why? I don't know. It just had to happen.
Yeah, I love them. Yeah. And I feel
Thank you.
very expressive and a little odd and
love-
experimental when I wear them. And I think it's such an interesting thing that I don't think is talked about a lot in fashion and stuff is like what happens when you wear a particular item or do a particular thing or cut your hair. Like what is the feeling state that it provides for you for your psychology?
No,
I don't know. It's
absolutely.
interesting.
Are you wearing pearls? You know, that sets a certain sort of mood. Are you wearing the strangest earrings that no one has ever seen before? You know,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, do you sit around in your pajamas all day? How do you feel?
Yeah.
I feel like trash. I don't know how other people feel. Versus just putting on a pair of you know,
Yeah.
I guess hearing you say that, it is important.
Yeah.
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 Which is, you know, it's very interesting when I was thinking about being here.
Yeah.
Those are so early. Those
Yeah.
are like I'm kind of mourning a period of the early time when I had no idea what I was doing other than just like the technique. I
Yeah.
had learned how to actually put beads together in a way that was I'm so detail oriented that I can do this so well and I love it so much. So that has never been the hard part for me.
Yeah.
But that was a time when I was just like, why not?
Yeah.
Those pink beads are called coffee.
Really?
Yes. So of course I love those. Although they are more so pink, more of like a mocha, whatever. Loved the name.
Yeah.
But it was just a time when I could just do whatever I wanted. And I feel like as I've grown in the business aspect of being an artist, I'm doing the air quotes, because I don't even tell people. Like when people say, what do you do? I'm still too shy and embarrassed to even say artist.
Oh my gosh,
I know,
you're
it's
so
such
cute.
a journey. Oh my God, I'm still like working through it. But
okay, so like what is it? So we set sort of the stage.
Yeah.
So what was your journey here?
It's so funny. I mean, I have been knee deep in motherhood for the past decade.
Yes.
Plus. So
How many children do you have?
I have 3 children.
3 children.
Just almost 11. Just turned 9.
Wow.
We are now the proud owner of a hamster. So that is unfortunate for me, but very fortunate for my sweet, sweet, sweet 9-year-old who is just like over the moon for this hamster. And then my little guy just turned 7. So, I mean, I have just been in the motherhood mode for such a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so funny. I was at preschool and one of my friends was like, let's just go take a little class. And I'm like, yes, of course you have to move like the heavens above to get away for an afternoon, but made it happen.
Right.
We thought we were going to be doing a loom class, like make a little table runner.
Oh, yeah.
Fabric like Keely does. Those beautiful. My God. That's what we thought we signed up for.
Okay.
It was a bead loom.
Really?
So we show up to this
just
place.
on happenstance.
It was like a rec department in Milwaukee. We drove down for the afternoon. A week later, both of us are like swimming in beads. Just surrounded by every possible color you could imagine. And it just started from there. So Sarah, huge shout out to Sarah. She's the one who started this.
And, I would really like to point out to everybody, to everyone, and to integrate this is how much just the idea of play, experimentation, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's try this. Like these accidental things that can just land in your lap that suddenly you're like, this speaks to my soul.
It is like it was sent to me from someone. I lost an aunt who was so close to me. And ever since then, I kind of feel like she sends me things. And I almost feel like she sent me beads.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
I don't know how or why, but I'd never seen a bead, never thought about a bead before this. And now it's like I can't stop.
Yeah.
It's very strange. It feels very like rooted in tradition for me.
Talk more about that.
You know how people like to fish and hunt and sleep outdoors and tent. I hate that stuff. But I feel like it's rooted. I feel like that's rooted in like something. And I just feel like this is a very deep tradition somehow, which I don't know, skipped a few generations because nobody I know works with beads. But do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I'm trying to liken it to more traditional like things like when you were talking, I was trying to like find associations, and I was thinking of like those I don't even know what those lace makers with those wooden dowels and stuff.
Sarah makes her own lace.
What?
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
she will.
it's not tatting,
it's
is
called
it?
Tatting.
It is called
That's
tatting?
what it's called.
Check it out.
She has made her own lace, and she sews them into antique books. She's insane.
Oh, wait. I know Sarah.
Of course you know Sarah. She is so talented.
She's so amazing. Oh, my gosh.
She's so shy. She's going to kill me that I'm talking about her.
Oh, that's so great.
She's so talented.
Oh.
She beats into
So
books.
you guys, yes, right. I was just with her on Sunday.
What?
I know.
I
I'm
love that. You know what? Did you see the frame that she just made?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. People, we need to take a picture and link that so people can see it.
I mean, we'll put her on the
Put her on the list. And also, she has still what I'm missing right now is just this joy to follow wherever her creative mind takes her.
Okay. What do you think the difference is?
She is not doing this as a business.
That's right.
I am out here trying to spread this in a business form.
Right.
which I love.
Yes.
And hate at the exact same time. Yeah. You go into this as just like, this is so much fun. And like I've been trying to communicate, I just have to do this. Like I can't stop doing this.
Yeah.
So it's great that I'm kind of turning the corner into this business aspect so that, it is sustainable and we're spreading it further than it probably would go otherwise. But yeah, the whole like follow your dream, you start thinking like, well, what is mass marketable? What is appealing to the most people? And that's great. And also torture at the same time.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now at this point where I miss where I was when I created those earrings.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's your boat.
I know. It is my boat. Yeah.
And, it's a weird thing that to create that balance, right, between business and...
Yeah. Any advice? I mean, you've been doing this business aspect for much longer than I have.
I never... I don't. Also, I mean, take this with a grain of salt, but like I have not gotten my act together in a way for my website and all of that to be sustainable. And I probably shouldn't even say this on it, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Sorry.
This is my like vulnerability here. But I'm still learning how to piece those things together to make sense. But what I did realize for myself is that when I relied on my painting sales to support myself, that it changed how I created and what I created.
This is what
because
I'm
then
trying
I
to say.
tuned outside of my own self to other people. And I just had a curator, a woman who used to carry my work in Chicago, a gallery owner, come into my studio like 3 weeks ago, and she was like, I really like these things over here. I'm like, they're experimental. She's like, oh, but that's what's selling right now. Yes. And I was like, well, I'm not there right now. I'm working on these larger paintings. And she's like, I know, but they're giant squares. And I was like, it's true. And that's what I need to get out right now. And it's not that I'm not interested in these other pieces, but they're part of this larger system of things that I need to get out. But it's not my focus at the moment. She's like, but that's what's selling. And I was just at Miami Basel and I was like, but that's, you know what? That's not my job. That's your job as a gallery owner and curator. Like, that's your job to choose what you think is going to go and sell and to create that inventory for yourself as a business. My job as an artist is to follow what is going to be true in line with me. And I really felt very strongly about like how that operated for myself.
So the ones that you're working on, the giant squares, you are just feeling like you need to be doing these.
Yeah. They were like,
this is what is in the, you're in the zone.
Them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I totally get that.
Yeah. Totally and I think that it's just that balance then of like, so if your income is based on it, right? Like, how do you then?
Yeah.
I have many friends that the art is their income, right?
But that's awesome. Good for them.
I know it's amazing.
Congrats.
But what I think is really important for that overlay then too is to spend enough time that you're still experimenting and that you're still in play, and they are diligent about that time.
That's great.
Like weirdly diligent, like in a way that I could not do, I don't think, in the same way. And it's really amazing. But they're like, nope, this is my time to like go explore and take photos of like concrete and
I have taken so many pictures of walls in Sheboygan and Sheboygan Falls and Plymouth.
Yeah.
And all my kids are always like, what are you doing? I'm like, get out of the photo. I'm trying to take a picture of this weird, 1970s. That's so interesting and so helpful to me to know that like it's just so important to stay connected to that deep-rooted curiosity.
Totally.
Which, I'm such a dichotomy. I am so type A that like getting into the numbers, and my sister has made me, oh my God, Carrie, she is a small business helper, and she does all the numbers.
Awesome.
So she's made me this spreadsheet, and I can get into it, and you can start getting all into that, and it's just, you can lose so much. So it's just this, it's for me right now, it's the balancing act. So to know that like people really, just do dedicated time just for that.
And like,
helpful.
Let's talk about the timeline in which you've been doing this.
Yeah. A few years.
Like a few years.
Yeah.
Like this is like not like something that you're like, I've been doing this for like 15, 25 years. Like this is not, this is like a brand new thing.
It's a new baby.
That you fell in love with the process and the material, that you then moved into like selling at local places.
Jordan.
Correct.
Can we just shout out Jordan for like just a hot second?
Honey and Ace.
Jordan at Honey and Ace. I was such a mess. I was at the same time completely like, this stuff is great, and I am so insecure. There's no possible way anyone's going to give me like physical money for this stuff.
Right.
Such a combination. Jordan was like, oh yeah, girl.
Yeah.
From the first second I met her, it was an absolute yes, and it's been an absolute yes. This is the only reason I continue to do this. People in this community, women in this community have kept my self-esteem in this very strange new thing afloat, and that's the only reason I'm still doing it.
Well,
I swear to you.
Look at that. Community support. Female support. Wow.
Women.
Yeah.
Seeing what I couldn't see at the time for long enough to let me see it for myself.
Whoa. Stay with that for a minute.
I mean, because you're doing these things for fun. You think no one's going to give you money. Jolene Jude, one of my friends, was the first person who gave me money for a pair of my earrings. And I'll never forget that. She probably doesn't even remember. I think they were for her sister. And it was just like such a moment for me. I'm like, whoa. And it goes so much deeper. It's like, women's work. I'd been knee deep in motherhood, like I started out saying. Where's my paycheck for that?
Right.
Raising the next generation. So to get physical money and think like, oh my God.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I could go down that rabbit hole for so long.
No, I think it's important to do that too. I mean, I was just listening to, I know we're kind of bouncing around a little bit, but
Sorry, that's the way my brain.
No. That's totally fine.
Works.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lose the threads that we're in.
Yeah.
Like the trajectory, the timeline space, right? That within this, all that you're mothering.
That's a big job.
Right? But you're also married. So you have that relationship as well. And then you have the relationship to yourself and your, and how you are going to be yourself in the world and to balance all of those pieces.
That has just like absolutely rung a bell for me.
Yeah.
My relationship to myself, that has not existed.
Yeah.
For such a long time. And I think that's the hardest part for me because all of the time I spent doing this felt selfish.
Sure.
Because I could have been down playing with the kids. I could have been reading them, So to take that time and really value that time for myself to form a relationship with myself, like that's blowing my mind.
Yeah.
I've done it and I've continued to do it because like I've mentioned, I just have to do it. But it's really been a journey to get to this is a valuable use of my time.
Absolutely.
And my relationship to myself is worth it.
Absolutely.
Because it's just every second.
I'm going to get her name wrong. It's Gilbert. She's a writer,
yes.
Big Magic.
Love.
Not Melissa Gilbert.
If you have not read Big Magic.
Big Magic is really good.
I had a different beater on Instagram reach out to me. We had made an exact same design at the same time. I didn't even follow her. She's
funny.
like, at first I thought she was going to be mad at me. Like, how did you? I'm like, I don't even follow you. I'm so sorry. I won't do that. She's like, the fact that we're both doing the same thing at the same time, like we are connected somehow. And I want you to read this book. I'm like, blew my mind.
Oh, yeah. So then you read the book through that. Oh, my gosh. That's so great. Well, she has like a little podcast.
I think it's Melissa Gilbert.
It is Melissa Gilbert?
Did you say Melissa?
Yeah, I
don't know.
Melissa,
Let's
but I
double-check
thought that was the Little House on the Prairie. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Okay. I am reading that also to my 9-year-old.
Oh, my God.
That's where I'm getting that from.
Okay.
But anyway, the book is called Big Magic.
So Big Magic, but like she has a podcast and she talks about, she was interviewing people and they were talking about she was interviewing a woman. I don't know who it actually was. And she was talking about the guilt that she felt at being a mother and wanting to write. And that she could have almost the exact same words that you used. But she talked about like with this woman about like being a mom and like wanting to write and feeling guilty about it. And that, you know, why is it her job to feel guilty? And then she said that she read something by another woman. I'm so bad with names, but she read something, but it was like, my most important job is to be fulfilled as a creator.
Wow.
Because if I'm not creating, I'm not myself. I can't be present with myself. And then I can't be present for my kids and my relationship. And so, and I think the next step in that was something like, and now my children recognize their own creativity and put themselves first because I was modeling for them what it's like to respect and be there for yourself and have the relationship with yourself. And that blew my mind. And I am not a mother. I am just a mother to cats, which is a very different thing. And so the amount of energy and self that you put into growing humans, that you have to, that you've allowed yourself to do that is enormous and a wholly creative job in and of itself. I mean, the most creative job, if you will.
I mean, to do it well, and I'm not saying I am doing it well, but there's no perfect mother, obviously. But I mean, yeah, you gotta pour yourself into it. They require your attention, your time, your love. And, you know, I love to do that. And they're great. And I'm happy to do that. But yeah, to just set a boundaries.
Yeah.
For myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Which kind of parlays into the fact that I just got this new studio space.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Whitney.
Yes.
Whitney Morales Photography. And she is the one really she's renovating it. Her husband is super, super helpful and handy and can work power tools. So that's really great.
Oh my gosh. Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Yes.
Let's come back to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. We're not back. So we're not welcome.
Yammered. Oh, sorry. Am I supposed to yammer? I yammered.
Still?
I
We're
one
back in
yammered. Okay. Welcome back to In the Act. I'm Erica Hunsinger, and we are speaking with Julie Burcham. Thank you.
Hold for applause. That's right.
Okay, so we talked a tiny bit about motherhood. We could go on forever about that.
Let's stop.
It's totally fine if you want to. I think it's really important, and I think there are a lot of women, which is why I wanted to sort of highlight it, is there are a lot of women out there, a lot of parents, a lot of caretakers who all have the balancing act of how
everybody.
And how much do I give to myself? How much do I give to my kids? Where do I? And then I was just in a yoga class that they said it's not about keeping the balance. It's about coming back into balance. And I was like, dude, that really struck home because it's never a stasis, right?
No, nothing ever is.
Yeah.
things are always moving.
Right.
Forever.
And so trying to get back into the balance.
Well, and we were talking about the studio space, and that has been so helpful to me because before this, it was my dining room, like the formal dining room.
So that's where I want to go to.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your journey on this like road. So
Sure.
you started at this class,
Yes.
and then after the class, a week later, you had tons of beads.
Well, Sarah and I both like went on the internet, found probably overpriced beads at a terrible supplier, and had them shipped to us.
Fantastic.
And we just started.
And this was like
playing.
how many years ago?
Oh my God! I think it was just before the pandemic.
So like 4 years ago?
Three,
Three.
4, 3.5. Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Okay.
Time is so fluid.
It is.
I cannot keep track of
Right.
anything. Where am I supposed to be today?
Right.
That's kind of
You're
like
here.
Yes,
You're good.
I'm here.
So then you started on your dining room table.
I just got out of that. Just got out of the dining room like this month.
Right.
February 1, I moved into the
Right,
space.
but in your dining room,
Yes.
I want to sit in there. I know you don't want to go there back there
Oh no,
for a second,
no, that's
but like
fine. No, it started on
I
the
think it's really
couch.
important because people need to know these
Mm-hmm.
places where it's hard and that you're just starting the journey
Yeah.
and that you have to figure out how to put your energy. Like, when did you work on that?
I did the whole day, the whole family day.
So
and
when
then-
they were gone at school?
No, I mean like prior to this, I would be at the school. I would be volunteering at the school.
Okay.
You know, my little guy, this is just his second year in
Right.
full day school. So
Okay.
it was 3 hours to Keeley and back. So my whole day was just chopped up. So I would do the whole kid day, the whole mother thing all day long.
Okay.
Clean them up, get them to bed, and then, you know, the 45 minutes to an hour that my husband would sit down exhausted on the couch, I'd pull a little beading tray out, sit down while he's watching whatever. He likes to watch all these like very smart, terrifying things, you know, like Bill Maher and other things where I'm just like, this is too intense for me. So I have to just bead. So that's where I would do it. I would, in 1 hour at the end of the day, through pure exhaustion, would just get these out and let the creativity
Wow.
flow. And I love it so much that it never felt like a chore. It was like such a pleasure. My
And
time.
It sounded like too. Tuning back into like it sounded as if you were talking about it in a time that it felt like it was grounding, or what were the feelings around beading? What does it do for you,
Yeah, I don't
or
know.
what did it do for you?
It was time for me to just do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And the more I think about it, I've always been a creative person. I mean, you know how you make the friendship bracelets at camp or whatever? Like, I would do that outside of, like, I remember all summer long, and they would be piled, and my mom probably just threw them away, but I would always be wanting to do these things. I had an aunt who would watercolor, and I like forced her to teach me how to watercolor, and my mom framed it as terrible. But I just am now connecting to the fact that I have been creative my entire life. It just unfortunately was not super valued in my household.
Yeah.
You know, the thought of growing up to be an artist was never something that was tenable. That was not. My dad's a retired general surgeon. You know, we're all very,
Right.
you know, analytical. So this whole like, become an accountant.
What was your previous?
Oh my gosh, it's such a mess.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that or no?
Well, no, I mean, I
Yeah.
have a nursing license, so I am a registered nurse.
What?
And I'm ready to like tag in if I ever would need to, you know, but it's like that practical job where you can
Yes.
make enough money to support a family if need be. That was,
Right.
you know, and my parents came out of this like their parents just were making it by, and you need to make sure you can support yourself
Yeah.
and a family. And so that's where it was fear, you know, rooted
Yeah.
in fear.
Sure.
So you went super practical. You did what you had to do. But man, I lost a lot of time.
Yeah.
So just discovering that has been a real joy, and being able to piece that together. Like I remember I took one art class as a kid, and she taught me how to draw a daffodil. And I still just like think about drawing those and it was so fun. Just these little pockets. Yeah, I just wish it would have been. And you know, I'm not going to say I regret that everyone could have had more support but it's helped me with my kids to really help them see like, this is what you love.
Yes.
And really to focus on that because it is possible.
Right.
You know, and that was the greatest hurdle for me to think like, this is valuable, this is possible, this will succeed in the world.
Right.
Against,
you could see it.
know, this whole backdrop of like, how are you going to be protected and support yourself?
And like with anything, I think, is that you have to have the right tools. You have to have the right support and tools. And
oh my gosh.
you have to,
Yes.
you know, a friend of mine just gave Lois Keller, she just sent me like mind mapping. She's like, maybe
Never
this
even
could help
heard of
you.
that.
She's so cute.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, here's your identifying, you know, focus. And then what are the offshoots like from that? And that sort of is that plan visually that maybe would be helpful for other artists or other creative people that are trying, like whatever system works for you to help sort of map something out that feels a little bit more grounded and stable.
That's very interesting. I don't do a lot of like planning and mapping. I just kind of follow.
But it sounds like you do.
Really?
Or you just have, maybe you have the tools in place.
I have a lot of
Right?
those like type A analytical.
Yes. Okay.
So that does pair well.
Right. And your sister helping out with like the
my
business.
gosh. Yeah.
So like,
Can I
having
just
those
shout out my
things-
other sister?
Yes.
Jenny.
Sure.
Has come to every fair I have ever been to.
Come on.
Because I cannot do this alone. Do
Yeah.
you find this hard? This is the hardest thing. I pour myself into these things, love them,
Yeah.
think they're so great, and then you ask me to stand in front of them and just have people pass by, and I'm like, do you love it? Do you want to give me money for this? Like,
Yeah.
it is so hard. And
Yeah.
without Jenny, oh, God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be anywhere. She lives in Chicago and she will drive up basically to like hold my hand through these 8-hour shows where I have to just, you know, people are lovely, but it's just, that's a hard thing to do.
I don't do art shows.
They're so hard.
Because first of all, I think that unless you're having like wearables and other things, like
Yes,
abstractions are one of the least things
Your
that
stuff
are
is
going to go.
too amazing.
And I can't like, it's too hard to see just people go, what is it? Or something, you know, I have no, I don't want to put my
So-
energy and time into
I
that.
know.
And it's really okay because I love art fairs and art shows. You have to find what works for you.
And that's a journey.
It doesn't mean,
Yes.
and it is a journey.
So
and you
many
have to-
avenues.
and it's okay.
Definitely.
It's okay if you don't. And if it's, you know, like just finding those things.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I totally get that. And I think that, I also think like my training, like I hear this a lot with art school, and people going to art school or going to school for art. It's like you're not necessarily, I mean, you're trained in technique, right? Like you're shown how to draw the daffodil, right?
Loved it.
However, more importantly, you're taught how to speak about your work and how to tune into your work. I mean, I think that's the most important thing.
I could use that
And-
skill set.
But we all can, right? Because it's really just about like self-reflection and identification and expression. Like it's this full circle thing that I think is more rooted in like therapy than like, you know,
Sign me up.
spiritual
Sign me up for 2 of
teachings
those.
and magic, right? Like
Wow.
getting back into
Yeah.
all those things
Yeah.
and the supportive community, which you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And those things are so, I think, important in terms of growing as a person. And to have those things in place, or that you're being supported by these people, like your sister coming and driving everywhere that's amazing.
Isn't Sheboygan just like a special little gem?
I mean, I think so.
When my husband wanted this job because he really likes the practice at the hospital here. And I was like, I came in February and I was like, oh my God, what? No, this place is terrible. There is such a special pocket of people in this town. I have met so many creative people who value creativity.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't necessarily expect it. You would think a small town in Wisconsin, like who's what there is just something a little bit magical about Sheboygan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the John Michael Kohler Arts Center is going to be a super ground for all of that. I mean, I think that the vision and the connection through that has just spread its veins through the county and through the world. So, getting back into like tightening up that community. So you were in your beads, on your table.
On the couch.
In the dining room.
Yeah.
And how many minutes do you think that you spent on choosing how to be in this space for yourself?
Like, any spare minute.
Yeah.
It was literally like, all right, you guys are fed. You're going to watch a show. You know where to find me.
Yeah.
I would have to squeak it in from whatever time that I could. Yeah. But then the pandemic happened. So my goodness, Zoom school, you better believe I was there in my pajamas sitting next to my first grader who's trying to learn how to read, beading while also watching over Zoom school.
Yeah.
So it was a really good outlet for me to have when all three of the kids were home for so long.
Oh my gosh.
Probably kept me sane through that whole thing.
And the process of that is like
so meditative and helpful, calming. Yeah, it's a lot of good things.
And hyper-focused. Because when we're talking about beading, I mean, I don't know, most people haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So the beads are extremely small.
11-0 for people who know.
11-0 for people who know.
Yeah.
It's like the train size or something, HO or something, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then it's a needle and thread.
It's a needle and thread.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're on like particularly like the earrings that I'm wearing are probably like 3 inches long, maybe 4. How many beads are on that, do you think?
I counted once. Those earrings probably have 1,000 beads in the pair.
Okay. Yeah. So we're talking 1,000.
So some stitches you take 2 beads, and then like the fringe is just kind of one big swoop. So I'm not. But some of the designs, I take a single bead and I weave it into another single bead.
Wow.
And then you make I love those because you can get a design super intricate. After Erica, I have an original Erica Hunsinger in my house, and I paid for that with beads because she is so amazing. I was going to bring that to the studio, and my husband was like, no, you may not. We were basically like fighting over who was going to be able to stare at it more. So I lost that fight, but it's okay. It's still in my home. After I stared at that picture for so long, I went into this totally different vein that I'd never done. Very geometric, very intricate. And I had to do this, what is that stitch even called? I'm so self-taught, I don't even know what anything's called. I'm just like, one where you beat them together.
Yeah.
But super geometric. So I needed something where you could see I couldn't have any waving or any movement because you needed to see the design. So that's the most labor intensive.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love every second of it because I don't know why.
I love that.
I love it.
Thank you for talking about your process with that.
Yeah. Do you ever see them letting their kid just like get engaged in whatever it is that they're excited about and then walking to the parking lot because they're 3 minutes late for their timer and have a $10 ticket? I'm telling you, those meter cops is cruel. Cruel. I saw them on 8th Street writing tickets. I went up and down and I put a quarter in everybody's meter.
The Robin Hood of quarters.
That's me.
Welcome back to In the Act. I'm Erica Hunsinger. We are talking with Julie Burcham today and talking about her being the little Robin Hood of parking meters. So if you thought you were going to get a ticket and
you did
in Sheboygan and you didn't because the parking meter guy was coming around filling out tickets and you didn't have enough and you didn't get one because you suddenly had enough money in your
time in your meter?
time in your meter.
I may
that
have
was
put a
because
quarter
little
in.
Julie Robin Hood.
I can't take
came around.
those. I can't do it. Those little meter monitors.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Well, it's a weird thing to have time, commodify time,
Oh,
right?
I do that all the time. How
Sure.
long does a pair of earrings take?
Exactly.
What's my hourly rate? I hate
Right.
it so much.
Right.
It's traumatizing. Not really, but
I have a friend in Chicago, JB Daniel, who did this really awesome series of installations where he put a call out to anybody who wanted to have their watches fixed, and he'd try and fix their watches, but he set up in a parking spot at different areas closer and further away from the lake. And the closer you got to the lake, to Lake Michigan in Chicago, the higher the price is. So it cost more to get your watch fixed when he was a block away from the lake than when he was down, past Damon.
sure.
Yeah. I mean, just really interesting idea about art and time and commodity
Yeah.
and
I've had a lot of people
capitalism.
go, what? Can we talk about capitalism for a second?
Let's do it.
I love that this stuff takes me 5 hours to do because
Wait, what takes you? One pair of earrings?
One pair of earrings
1,000 beads is what?
it can take up, complicated, very detailed. I'm switching to 8 different colors in a very, very specific pattern, 6 hours.
Wow.
3 hours an earring. Yeah. But what a slap in the face to capitalism. What a slap in the face to get as much done as possible, as fast as you can, as cheap as you can, as quick as... It's just...
Absolutely.
Slow. It's slow. It's deliberate.
It's handmade.
It's handmade.
And there's worth in handmade.
And you had to... people had to convince me of that. My mother raised 5 children. If you were not doing something productive, you were not doing something.
Oh, sure.
So in the very beginning, I was like, this is just, such a luxury.
Yeah.
And it still does feel like a luxury at some point, but I don't know, a luxury that I have to, a creative outlet that is so meaningful to me.
Well, we're surrounded by all these cute and wonderful and lovely things at TJ Maxx and
Don't even get me started on Target
and all of these places that mass produce these things.
There's a time and a place for these things. I don't want to be up on this high horse I never go to Target. Of course, everyone needs.
Absolutely.
But this is so relevant to me right now because I've been incorporating a lot of metal pieces and it's been feeling really icky because you go on Etsy, you try to support handmade but then you get it. You're like, this was from China.
Yeah.
This did not come from somebody who put their heart and soul into it.
This was mass produced.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, of course, when you're starting, there's some element to that. And it just feels more and more. It's feeling like this doesn't feel right. So I am taking a metalsmithing class.
Awesome. Is it with Susan O'Connell?
I love Susan so much. I've taken
name
2
dropping
classes.
everywhere.
I know. But you know what? These are the people.
Yeah.
You are the people. You, Susan, Jordan. These are the people who have helped me make this anything.
Dude, nothing is created in a bubble. I'm
No.
sorry. I don't know where the dude thing came from. I don't think I've ever really used dude before.
My
And I'm
7-year-old.
dude.
No, my 11-year-old she'll go, bro. I'm like, I'm sorry. First of all, wait. Bro.
No, but nothing is created in a bubble. We need each other. We need help. It's okay to ask for help, and we'll help where and when we can. And it is an ebb and flow, but you have to have people around you that support you and that see you and go, hey, I see you. How can I help? What is this? Or share conversation,
you really
whatever
think of
it is.
You think, oh, this is a pile of beads that you put together.
Yeah.
And to have people stare at them and be like, oh my God, you need that. You need that. Oh, I needed that reassurance.
I do too.
But yes, I took 2 classes with Susan. Amazing. She's such a talent. Such a talent. And then Patty Rummel, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. She shares a studio space with Shayna Jewelry, who has also been an absolute lovely supportive person.
She's amazing.
In this. They're both so talented.
Exquisite
but
pieces.
Oh my God, metalwork. Ooh.
Exquisite.
So she recommended the studio that I'm in right now. I've been driving to Grafton. Again, moving heaven and earth. Shout out to Shauna Silberzon. She has picked up my children from school, taken them to her home.
She's amazing.
Delivered her children to their after-school activity, and then watched my children without her children there. And this is how I'm taking the metalsmithing course.
Wow.
Can we talk about support?
Yes, this is exactly
support.
Yes, that's so amazing.
Because I couldn't get into the morning session.
That's right.
So I had to move. It's like I have to take this metalsmithing course.
So when people are like, I can't do this, I can't do it, like shore up your friends. Figure out how to be a friend, better friend. Like I don't think I was a good friend. I didn't know how to have good friends, and I wasn't a good friend, and I didn't have good friends until I was like 25 or 26.
That's young. Good for you. Congrats. We grew up in a time.
I started.
We grew up in a time.
We're not of the same age, honey.
Okay. Well, we're both in that era where it was like women were pitted against women.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We're in the same.
The Britney Spears, the 90s,
right.
the Christina Aguilera versus. I am loving that this is no longer a thing.
It's true. It's true.
It's just one of the best things that could ever happen to the population.
And for all the women then that are out there and all the moms and fathers, whoever, like we're like, I can't do this. Like you can. It's about trying to find ways that you can do it and finding that support.
A year ago, I never would have said, this is important enough that I am going to not pick up my children, call in a huge favor to my friend. It's just, as time goes on, I gain more confidence. I put my foot down and I say, I'm doing this.
Wow.
This is important. I have to do it. I'm evolving. I'm getting better. I have to follow where my heart is leading. And I have been met with nothing but support.
That's so beautiful. I'm so happy to hear that.
I could cry. It is.
You look it.
It's amazing.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, when did you decide? So you're in this. I want to just finish out this little trajectory.
Yeah.
So you were working with Jordan. You got your support. You got your community. People are rallying behind you. You've rallied behind yourself.
That took a very long time.
You are rallying
continuing
behind yourself.
To gain confidence and
to
rallying
find the
behind
balance.
myself.
Right. As we do.
Yeah.
And then you decided that the dining room table wasn't enough and you were getting enough income from your work to be able to afford an office space?
Well, this was 100% Whitney.
Okay,
talk about support. She's like, "Let's go." Can I tell you? This is a little strange. I was with my kids. It was the end of summer. We were at the Purple Octopus Playground by the Children's Museum. It had just opened.
That's so cool.
This is gonna raise the hairs on your head.
Okay.
I just kept looking, and so Word Haven, beautiful. We all love Word Haven, right? Shout out to Kelly, the bookstore. I just kept looking over there, and I kept on looking at the windows above it. I'm like, God, that's a beautiful building. And I just kept thinking, like, what's going on behind those windows? Like, what's going on? And I could not stop thinking about the windows above Word Haven for some reason. And then months and months go by, and Whitney goes, I'm thinking about, I want to do this community space. I want to have this. And I said, I would love that. My husband is so sick of staring at my beads everywhere, which, is totally reasonable. He's so much more organized than me. So that's great. And she's like, yeah, I'm looking at an upper. I'm like, you mean the upper above Word Haven? She's like, what? How do you know that? I'm like, oh, I knew that. And I'm going to be there. And I know exactly what room I'm going to have. And it's going to be that one.
So and that's imaged it.
That I've done that several times.
Really?
Yes. I don't know what that means.
Like you follow a fantasy?
No, like I just know something. Like I knew something was going to happen in that room behind those windows. And that's my studio.
Wow.
Yes.
And that's your studio now?
Yes.
And how long have you been in that studio?
Just this 1 month, February.
Oh my
this
gosh.
Last month. Yes.
This is so fantastic.
Isn't that strange?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You have a studio.
I do. It's so nice.
And how, I mean,
I love your studio, by the way.
thanks.
Your studio is great. It's so inspiring to see how other people work.
It is.
And it's so inspiring to have a space just for your work.
Absolutely.
Ah.
And how do you think it's transformed you?
Well, it's very early on.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to find the balance of like how to get there and how long I can get there.
Yeah.
And now with the metalsmithing, I'm driving to Grafton. So
Right.
I would love to spend more time there. But it has brought back some balance because like I said, I'd be used to doing it after the kids were to bed. So now they're going to bed late. It's going to be a really good thing
Yeah.
going forward.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really fantastic.
And talk about legitimacy. It's like, it's a step closer for me to say, oh, yeah, I'm an artist who has a studio. That's very difficult for me to say.
Well, you sound a lot better saying it now.
Yeah.
Having reviewed all that you have.
This is true.
Than at the begining of the session.
So does this
The session.
Does this come with a therapy cost, or like what is the fee for this? Because just,
you know I'm all about barter. Come on.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if this is we have to close it up pretty soon, I think.
Well, everyone should do this.
Like
because
about
it's-
5 minutes.
It's
But
helpful.
the talk about barter, when you said that you have one of my paintings, what you did though in that trade was create a custom piece
Oh my God.
necklace. This is almost like a badge necklace. All beaded. And it is like almost the sister piece of the painting.
Oh, it's like an absolute reflection.
An absolute. It's so gorgeous. And it feels so precious. I will put it
so
on.
Sweet.
I've never worn it out.
It's too special.
It's too special.
It's too,
so
like,
I'll
close
put
to
it
home?
on
Oh.
and I'll look at it and I'll wear it around a little bit and then I'll put it back in its box and put it away. It's so
Wear
cute.
it out. It wants to be seen.
I know.
Oh my
I have to do it.
goodness.
So that'll be my goal for the year.
Your use of color is, for some reason, I don't know how you do this. You have such an unexpected technique and look, and yet the balance is perfect. Like
Yeah.
the use of color in that painting was so inspiring. Like I said, I did
that
like a
painting.
whole series of stuff that was so out of the box for me just because I had spent so much time analyzing your work.
Oh my gosh.
Super inspiring.
And that's so beautiful, but that's what our life is, right?
Oh,
Is
I
like,
draw from
let's
so many
look at
things.
how someone else is doing it. Share your story so that I then can be in turn inspired, or something might click for me, or go,
I love
maybe
that.
I can too.
I find that all the time. I follow so many beaters on Instagram and just looking, who did I hear? I think they say follow your envy. There is my queen is Rubinski Works. If you have not looked her up,
I don't know.
She is fabulous. She is so kind. She's an amazing artist, an amazing beater, but she shares her technique. You can ask her anything. It's never like, this is mine, don't do it. It's like, what do you need to know? How can I help you? And there's so much of the opposite of that. And when I saw her doing that, I said, when I'm there, because I'm still getting there, and I'll always still be getting there. But when I'm there and people are asking me, I will always choose that route.
Yeah.
I will always choose the route to share, to be kind, to be generous with your thoughts and creativity. I mean, it's just
Find
so
your voice.
inspiring.
And we're all using similar materials. It's not like we've invented new materials. We're all if you keep developing yourself and not incorporate other people's ideas and stuff and try it on, but then finding your own voice and finding what feels right.
Yes.
It will come and it will be yours.
Totally.
And it is so empowering to be like, these are the threads and the roots and the branches and the leaves of me.
Absolutely.
Through these materials.
And it's
it'll be
okay.
identifiable.
I think it's so hard to start. First of all, just start. giving yourself permission to start is probably the hardest barrier.
Yeah.
It was for me. It's okay to copy other people when you're learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend trying to sell that. I wouldn't feel comfortable selling something that was so similar to someone else's work.
Right.
I think it's very important. And it's just, it's a dishonor to your true voice if
Right.
you're going to just try to copy other people. But it's okay to do that in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Get inspired. Try
Totally.
to make it like that. See that you like bright orange better than their color. You know what I
Totally.
mean? Like, just do it, start it, play around.
Keep going and talk about it. Talk about it.
Vision will
Share
come.
It totally will.
It will.
Yeah.
And you'll feel great doing it. And isn't that just such a joy?
I'm so happy for you, Julie.
I love being here with you. You're so sweet. Oh
I
my
love
God.
being here with you, too. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
Is there any other thing you'd like to share?
Yeah, just look for my metalsmithing stuff. That's hard. That's the next horizon. I think I'm kind of like going into that a little harder.
Cool.
So I'm still beating into the metal frames that I make, but that's kind of next on the horizon. And then now I just keep thinking about sparkly diamonds and jewels and stuff. So
Awesome.
we'll see where this next phase takes me.
All
but
right.
yeah.
And if people wanted to get a hold of you or search you out, where
Yes.
can they find you?
So my company name is Jules and Leo. So Jules, that's what my aunt called me. She always called me Jules. So
Shout out to
Jules. Yeah. Shout out to Barb. We love her.
Okay.
We miss her.
Yes.
JulesandLeo.com. But if you want to talk to me directly, you should probably just DM me on Instagram at Jules and Leo.
Jules and Leo.
Yeah. I'm
Excellent.
a Leo. You're a Leo.
I know it. Right.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Julie.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Huge thanks to Mead Public Library, the fantastic Melissa Prentice, Josh Littner, Annalisa Finca, the radio committee, our amazing engineer, John Tully, and for the title, Photo and Fabulous, theme music composed and performed by Cooper Deers.
In the Act is produced in the studios at Mead Public Library in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. More information on the web at meadpl.org.